The baby napped peacefully beside his Labrador. 15 minutes later, a terrifying bark shattered the silence. Sarah ran to the living room and froze at what she saw. What the gentle dog did next left everyone speechless. Before you watch, remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss another touching story like this one, and write in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. The bark stopped Sarah's heart. Deep, feral, terrifying. She ran from the kitchen and froze. A man stood in her doorway. A stranger. His hand still on the knob, and Buddy, her gentle yellow lab who'd never growled in his life, stood between the man and Jake's playpen, his teeth bared, his body rigid. 15 minutes ago, Jake had been napping peacefully. Buddy stretched beside him, Sarah making lunch in the kitchen. The house quiet, safe. Sarah had just laid Jake down for his afternoon nap. The baby yawned, his tiny fist rubbing his eyes. "Sleepy boy," she whispered, kissing his forehead before lowering him into the playpen. Buddy immediately moved closer, settling on the floor beside it. His usual spot. Sarah smiled. She'd worried, when she was pregnant, whether Buddy would accept a baby. But from day one, he'd been perfect, gentle, patient, protective in the sweetest way. She reached down and scratched behind his ears. "You're such a good boy with him." Buddy's tail thumped softly. Sarah walked to the front door, tested the knob, or thought she did. Distracted by Jake's fussing earlier, she'd forgotten to lock it after bringing in groceries. She didn't realize. She hummed softly, heading to the kitchen to start lunch. Everything felt safe, normal. Buddy watched her go, then turned his attention back to the baby. His eyes half closed, his breathing slow and steady. Watching. Always watching. Now a stranger was in her home, and the sweetest dog on the block had become something she didn't recognize. The dog's body was rigid, his hackles raised along his spine, forming a ridge of golden fur standing straight up from his neck to his tail. His lips pulled back, showing teeth Sarah had never seen bared before. The growl that came from his chest was low, steady, and absolutely terrifying. Sarah's mind couldn't process it. This was Buddy. Her Buddy. The dog who whimpered during thunderstorms, the one who ran away from the neighbor's cat. But the creature standing before her now looked nothing like that dog. His eyes were locked on the stranger with an intensity she'd never witnessed. His ears were pinned back, his entire body coiled like a spring ready to release. "What?" Sarah started, her voice breaking. The man raised his hand slightly. "I didn't know anyone was home." "Get out," Sarah said, her voice shaking. "Get out of my house." Buddy took a step forward. The movement was deliberate, controlled. His paws planted firmly with each step, his growl never wavering. The man's eyes shifted from Sarah to the dog, then to the playpen where Jake was starting to stir, tiny whimpers escaping as he woke. "Look, I'm not here to—" "I said get out!" Sarah's voice cracked. She reached blindly toward the side table, fingers searching for her phone. The man took a step inside, and Buddy moved. Not to attack, but to block. He shifted his entire body sideways, placing himself directly between the man and the playpen. His shoulder muscles bunched, his stance widened. There was no way around him, none. Then he barked. Not the friendly, excited bark Sarah heard when she came home from work. Not the playful bark when she threw his tennis ball. This was something primal. Something that came from deep in his chest and seemed to shake the walls. Sharp, fierce, protective. Sarah had never heard anything like it. "Call him off," the man said, backing toward the door. "Lady, call off your dog. Don't you dare tell me what to do in my own house," Sarah said. her hands trembling as she finally grabbed her phone. She pressed 911. The man saw it. His expression changed, surprise, then anger, then fear. He took another step back, but Buddy matched him instantly. For every inch the man retreated, Buddy advanced. Keeping the distance, keeping himself between threat and family. Jake was crying now, his wails cutting through the chaos. His little hands reached through the mesh toward Sarah, his face red and scrunched. 911, what's your emergency? There's someone in my house, Sarah said, voice shaking. A man. He just walked in. I don't know him. Ma'am, are you safe right now? My dog. He's blocking him, but I need help. The man tried to move around Buddy, angling toward the hallway. Buddy's head snapped in that direction. He sidestepped instantly, cutting off the path. Then he snapped his jaws, not biting, just a warning, and the sound echoed through the room like a gunshot. The man jerked back, stumbling over the door frame. Jesus! Buddy's lips curled further back. Sarah could see every tooth now, his gums. The whites of his eyes. He looked wild, feral, but his positioning was precise, calculated. Every movement had purpose. He wasn't attacking, he was defending. There was a difference, and somehow Buddy knew it. I'm leaving, the man shouted, his voice rising in pitch. I'm going. Just get that dog away from me. Stay where you are, the dispatcher said firmly in Sarah's ear. Officers are 2 minutes away. Do not let him leave. But the man was already turning, scrambling back through the open door. Buddy followed him to the threshold, barking, each bark sharp and commanding, pushing the man further away. The man hit the porch steps running, nearly tripping as he fled down the walkway. Buddy stopped at the doorway. He planted his feet at the exact edge, where carpet met wood, and kept barking, watching, making sure the threat was gone. His chest heaved with each breath, his body still rigid, ready. Then, slowly, the barking faded, his hackles lowered, his tail, which had been tucked tight against his body, relaxed. He turned, walked calmly back to the playpen, and sat down beside it. Just like that, he was Buddy again, his eyes soft, his tongue hanging out slightly as he panted, like nothing had happened. Sarah stood frozen, phone still pressed to her ear, her whole body shaking. Jake was screaming now, his face soaked with tears. Ma'am, are you still there? He's gone, Sarah whispered. The man, he ran. Officers are pulling up now. Stay on the line. Sarah's legs gave out. She sank to her knees on the carpet. She reached into the playpen and pulled Jake out, held him close, her tears soaking into his soft hair. It's okay, baby, she whispered. We're okay. We're safe. Buddy sat quietly beside them, his tail giving one slow wag. His breathing was returning to normal, his eyes tracking between Sarah and Jake, checking on them, making sure they were all right. Sarah looked at him, really looked at him. This dog. This sweet, gentle, lazy lab who spent most of his days napping in sunbeams and begging for table scraps. He'd just saved them. 2 police officers arrived within seconds. They found the man 3 blocks away trying to break into another house. He had a record, burglaries, break-ins. He'd been checking homes in the neighborhood all week, looking for unlocked doors. Sarah's door had been unlocked. She'd forgotten after bringing in groceries earlier. One of the officers knelt beside her in the living room, while his partner took her statement. Your dog saved you, he said quietly, looking at Buddy. If he hadn't alerted you, if he hadn't blocked that guy, Sarah's throat tightened. She looked at Buddy, lying quietly beside Jake now. The baby had stopped crying and was patting the dog's head with his tiny hands. Buddy's tail thumped softly against the floor. He's never done anything like that before, Sarah whispered. He doesn't even bark at squirrels. The officer smiled. Labs are like that. Gentle as can be until their family's in danger. Then they become something else. Sarah ran her hand over Buddy's soft fur. You knew, didn't you? You knew something was wrong. Buddy turned his head and licked her hand once. That night, after the police left and the door was locked, triple-checked, Sarah sat on the floor beside Jake's playpen. Buddy lay beside her, his head resting on her leg. I never doubted you before, she said softly, but I'll never doubt you again. She thought about all the times she'd seen him as just a pet, a sweet, lazy lab who liked belly rubs and naps, but he was so much more than that. He'd been watching, waiting, and, when the moment came, he became exactly what they needed. As Sarah tucked Jake into his crib and turned off the lights, Buddy settled on the floor beside it, just like he did every night. But this time, Sarah paused. She knelt and looked him in the eyes. You saved us, she whispered. Buddy's tail thumped once. Then he rested his head on his paws and closed his eyes. Outside, the neighborhood was quiet. Inside, 3 hearts rested easy. A mother, a baby, and the Labrador who proved that love isn't just gentle. Sometimes it's fierce. Did you enjoy this story? If your dog had never shown aggression before, would you trust them to protect your baby like Buddy did? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments below. If you like the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.